Hi TCS, this is David Toledano, Youth Director at the Thornhill Community Shul. I feel truly honored that I have the opportunity to share with you all this week the 2 Minute Torah. I'd like to thank Rob for starting this initiative and for including me and asking me to speak to you all this week. This week's Parsha is Parshas Vaera, the second one in the Sefer of Shemot. The Jews are currently enslaved in Egypt, and as we know, God told Moshe, time had now come for the redemption of the Jewish people from Egypt. So it was Moshe's job to approach Paro asking for the Jewish people's freedom and saying this was a direct request from God. As we all know, Paro flatly refused without hesitation. Following that, God sent a number of plagues onto the Egyptians so that Paro would know that God really meant business and wanted the Jews to be freed. It was only when the Egyptians were experiencing an immense amount of pain from the plagues that Paro then approached Moshe and promised to let the Jewish people go on condition that the plagues would stop. After that, as we all know, the plagues stopped. God stopped the plagues, and any pain associated with that subsided for the Egyptians. As it says in the Pasuk, Paro saw that there had been a relief, and at the end of the verse, it says he did not heed them, right? He reneged. He went back on his word, saying that he would release the Jews because now that there wasn't pain anymore, he felt that he didn't need to let the Jews go. Only in that moment of pain, that's when he would release the Jews. And there's a very strong life lesson here that I'd like to relay and share with all of you. When we do things in our lives that cause any sort of unpleasant or painful experience, we almost universally commit to never repeat that unhealthy behavior ever again. But when does that happen? In that moment of pain, in that time when we are experiencing this unpleasant experience. How often do we get nauseous from eating too much after a big dinner or a big lunch, or you go to sleep too late only to be exhausted and irritable the next day, and then in that moment you commit yourself to now always be in bed before 10 o'clock, right? And when you eat all that food and you're sick and your stomach is hurting, you commit yourself and you commit to yourself and you say, I'm never going to eat that much again. But like most everything else, and this happens to everyone, after a few days pass, the discomfort fades into a memory at the back of your mind. You'll then easily repeat this identical negative behavior once again. This is because, like Paro, once the pain of a situation is no longer present and you saw there was that relief, right? You're not sick anymore. You're not irritable and tired after not getting enough sleep because you slept too late. Again, you're going to simply lose that once crystal clear clarity to make that change. On a more serious scale, imagine someone, God forbid, has a heart attack and is rushed to the emergency room. This is just a very extreme example. While recovering in his hospital bed, he commits to himself to immediately change his ways, to exercise more, to get outside, to eat better, and work much less at the office to reduce stress. Sadly, as we all know, these commitments are usually short-lived because, again, when the pain of the experience subsides, the old habits naturally and quickly return. The fact is, if you're in pain, it's not very hard to have clarity on the type of behavior you want to begin to have. Anyone can do that. What takes effort and goes against human nature, which we all succumb to, is to still fight the urge to drift back to your old ways when you aren't in physical discomfort. So when that discomfort subsides, when that unpleasant experience is not there anymore, how are you going to approach the situation, and are you going to change? A great way to accomplish this is, before you want to repeat any sort of self-destructive behavior, spend that moment to mentally recall the aftermath of that past event, that time that you ate too much, those times that you went to bed too late and it ruined your whole workday the next day, or you missed Minyan because of it, whatever it may be. The only way that it will work is to take yourself through that whole experience and unfortunately to bring it back to life that'll make it real to you all over again. Again, although there will always be a part of us that will try to push this negative association away because you don't want to recall that experience, the more you're able to focus on that negative consequence, it'll dilute your anticipated pleasure. And just like lifting weights, for example, an exercise example, the more you do this, the stronger and stronger your willpower will become, making that behavior easier and easier to resist. So again, reliving it in your mind, as hard as it may be, will allow you to have a happier and more meaningful life both today and tomorrow. And this is a lesson to learn from Paro and the Egyptians. And I hope we can all take this very powerful lesson into our own lives and make real, true change. Shabbat Shalom.